Peggy Sweeney-McDonald, and Scott Jefferson.
Andrew McPeace Ladd III accepts with pleasure the kind invitation of Mr. and Mrs. Gilbert Channing Gardner for a birthday party in honor of their daughter, Melissa, on April 19, 1937, at 3:30.
Dear Andy, thank you for the birthday present. I have a lot of Oz books, but I don't have The Lost Princess of Oz. What made you give me that one? Sincerely yours, Melissa.
I'm answering your letter about the book. When you came into second grade with that stuck-up nurse, you looked like a lost princess.
I don't believe what you wrote. I think your mother told my mother to get that book. I like the pictures more than the words. Now let's stop writing letters.
I will make my L's taller than my D's.
I will close up my A's and my O's.
I will try to make longer P's. Pass it on.
You're funny.
Will you be my Valentine?
Were you the one who sent me a Valentine saying, will you be my Valentine?
Yes, I sent it.
Then I will be, unless I have to kiss you.
When it's warmer out, can I come over and swim in your pool?
No, you can't. I have a new nurse named Miss Hawthorne who thinks she'll give me infantile paralysis.
Will you help me go down and get milk and cookies during recess?
I will if you don't ask me to marry you again. I will not write personal notes in class. I will not write personal notes in class. I will not.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Love, Andy Ladd.
I made this card myself. It's not Santa Claus. It's a kangaroo jumping over a glass of orange juice. Do you like it? I like you. Love, Melissa.
My mother says I have to apologize in writing. I apologize for sneaking into the girls' bathhouse while you were changing into your bathing suit. Tell Miss Hawthorne I apologize to her too.
Here's a picture I drew of you and me without our bathing suits on. Guess which one is you? Don't show this to anyone, okay? I love you.
Here's a picture of Miss Hawthorne without her bathing suit.
You can't draw very well, can you?
Thank you for sending me the cactus plant stuck in the little donkey. I got lots of presents here in the hospital, and I have to write thank you notes for everyone. I hate it here. My throat is sore from all the time, where they cut out my tonsils. They give me lots of ice cream, but they also take my temperature the wrong way.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Why did they send you to another school this year?
Merry Christmas. They think I should be with all the boys.
You made me send you a postcard. This is it.
You're supposed to write personal notes on postcards. Okay, for example, here are some questions to help you think of things to say. Do you like Lake Saranac? Is it fun visiting your grandmother? Are your parents really getting divorced? Oh, can you swim out to the deep part of that lake? Or does Miss Hawthorne make you stay in the shallow part where it's all roped off? Is there anybody there my age? I mean boys. Please write answers to all these questions.
No. No. Yes. Yes. No.
Dear Melissa, remember me, Andy Ladd. They sent me to camp so I could be with all the boys again. This is quiet hours, so we have to write home, but I've already done that, so I'm writing you. There's a real Indian here named Iron Crow who takes us on nature walks, and he teaches us 6 new plants a day. That's okay, except you forgot about poison ivy. I won the backstroke, which gives me 2.5 gold stars. If I ever get over 50 gold stars by Parents' Day, then I win a leadership prize, which is what my father expects of me. I'm making a napkin ring in shop, which is worth 4 stars, which is either for my mother or for you. I hope you'll write me back, because when the mail comes every morning, they shout out our names, and it would be neat to walk up and get a letter from a girl.
Help! Yikes! I can't write letters. It took me hours just to write Dear Andy. I write my father because I miss him so much, but to write a boy, hell's bells and oriental smells. I'm sending you this picture of our cat instead. Don't you love his expressions? It's not quite right, but I tried 3 times. I drew those little jiggly lines around his tail because sometimes that tail behaves like a completely different person. There's part of me that feels like that tail. Oh, and here's some bad news. My mother's gotten married again to a man named Hooper McPhail. Ooh, help, let me out of here.
I liked the cat. Is that the cat you threw in the pool that time when we were playing over at your house in 3rd grade?
No, that was a different cat entirely.
This is a dumb Halloween card and wouldn't scare anyone, but I'm really writing about dancing school. My parents said I have to go this year. I don't see why I have to. I can't figure out why they keep sending us away from girls, then telling us we have to be with them. Are you going to dancing school also? Just write yes or no, since you hate writing.
Yes.
Dear Mrs. McPhail, I want to apologize to you for my behavior in the back of your car coming home last night from dancing school. Charlie and I were just goofing around, and I guess it got out of hand. I'm sorry you had to pull over to the curb, and I'm sorry we tore Melissa's dress. My father says you should send me the bill and I'll pay for it out of my allowance.
Dear Andy, Mommy brought your letter up here to Lake Placid. She thought it was cute. I thought it was dumb. I could tell your father made you write it. You and I both know that the fight in the car was really Charlie's fault. And Charlie never apologized, thank God. That's why I like him, actually. As for you, you shouldn't always do what your parents want. Even at dancing school, you know, you're always doing the right thing all the time. You're a victim of your parents sometimes. That's why I picked Charlie to do the rumba with me that time. He at least hacks around occasionally. I'm enclosing a picture I drew of a dancing bear on a chain. That's you, Andy, sometimes? I really think so.
I know it seems jerky, but I like writing, actually. I like writing compositions in English. I like writing letters. I like writing you. And I wanted to write that letter to your mother because I knew you'd see it. So it was like talking to you when you weren't here. And when you couldn't interrupt. My father says everyone should write letters as much as they can. It's a dying art. He says letters are a way of presenting yourself in the best possible light to another person. I think that too.
I think you sound too much like your father. But I'm not going to argue by mail. And anyway, the skiing's too good.
Oh, get well soon. I'm sorry you broke your leg.
Mommy says that I broke it purposely because I'm a self-destructive person and went down Whiteface Mountain without asking permission. All I know is I wish I had broken my arm instead so I would have a good excuse not to write letters. I'm enclosing a picture I drew of the bedpan. I'm serious. Don't you love its shape?
Andrew M. Ladd III accepts with pleasure the kind invitation of Mrs. R. Ferguson Brown for a dinner in honor of her granddaughter, Melissa Gardner, before the Children's Charity Ball.
I'm writing this letter because I'm scared if I called you up, I'd start crying right on the telephone. I'm really mad at you, Andy. Don't you know that when you're invited to a dinner party before a dance, you're supposed to dance with the person giving it at least twice? And I don't mean my grandmother either. That's why you have dinner parties, so people get danced with. I noticed you danced with Jenny Waters, and you never danced with me. I think it's rude, that's all. Straighten up and fly right, Andy. How do you expect to get anywhere in life if you're rude to women? Nuts to you, Andy, and that goes double on Sunday.
I didn't dance with you because I got a stretched groin. If you don't know what that means, look it up sometime. I was going to tell you in person, but I got embarrassed. I stretched it playing hockey last week. The only reason I dance with Ginny Waters is she takes tiny steps. But you always make me do those big spins, and we could have gotten into serious trouble. I tried it out at home with my mother at first, and it hurt like hell. That's why I didn't dance with you. I'm using a heating pad now. And maybe we can dance next week at the junior assemblies.
I don't believe all that hockey stuff. I think Jenny Waters stretched your groin. And next time you cut in, I'm going to stretch the other one.
What? You obviously don't know what a groin is.
You obviously don't know what a joke is. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Guess what? I'm going to a psychiatrist now. My mother says it'll do me a world of good. But don't tell anybody. It's supposed to be a big secret.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I have a question for you. And would you please write the answer by mail? Because sometimes when you call, my mother listens on the telephone. And when she doesn't, my little brother does. Here's the question. Do you talk about sex with a psychiatrist?
I talk about sex all the time. It's terribly expensive, but I think it's worth it.
If I went to a psychiatrist, I'd talk about you. I would, seriously. I'd think about you quite often.
Sometimes I think you just like me because I'm richer than you are. Sometimes I really have that feeling. I think you like the pool and the elevator in my grandmother's house and Simpson in the butler coat coming in with ginger ale on a silver tray. I think you like all that just as much as you like me.
All I know is my mother keeps saying, you'd make a good match. She says if I ever married you, I'd be set up for life. But I think it's really just physical attraction. That's why I liked going into the elevator with you at your grandmother's that time. Want to try it again?
Help! Let me out of here! They shipped me off to this nunnery. Oh my God, it's the end of the absolute world. And we have to wear these sappy midi blouses and learn posture and gym. And speak French out loud in class. Oh God, it's so crappy here. And all the girls, they squeal and shriek, and you can hear them barfing in the bathroom after the evening meal. We can only go to Hartford one day a week if we can find a chaperone. And there's only 2 dances a year with boys. And if we're caught drinking even beer, it's wham bam, on to the next train and home, which is worse. Oh, Andy, can you please come some Sunday afternoon? We can invite boys to tea from 4 to 6. There are all these biddies sitting around keeping watch, but if the weather's good, we can walk up and down the driveway before we have to sign in for evening prayers. They made me room with this spoiled Cuban bitch who has 9 pairs of shoes, and all she does is lie on her bed and listen to Phineas Rainbow. How are things in Guadalajara? Who gives a shit how things are there? It's here they're pictures of your stupid family. What family? Am I supposed to hang up pictures and look at Pooper McPhail? Ugh. Oh, come save me, Andy. Or at least write. I mean, just to hear a boy's voice, even on paper.
Just got your letter. They shipped me off, too. Last minute decision. Your mother told my mother it would do me good. She said I was a diamond in the rough. I'll write as soon as I get smoother.
Dear Diamond. You too? Oh, I give up. Why do they keep pushing us together and then tearing us apart? I think we're being brought up by a bunch of foolish farts. Now we'll have to write letters, which I hate. But don't let them smooth you out, Andy. I like the rough parts. And in fact, sometimes I think you could be a little rougher. Love you.
I'm very sorry to be so late in replying, but I haven't had much time. I also had a lot of obligations. I have to write to my parents once a week, 3 out of 4 grandparents separately once a month, and maybe our cook who sent me a box of fudge. Plus, I have all my schoolwork to do, including a composition once a week for English and another for history. Oh, my grandmother gave me a new Parker 51 and some writing paper with my name on it as a going away present. But still, that's a lot of writing I have to do. Last week, I was so tied up, I skipped my weekly letter to my parents. My father called the school long distance about it. I had to go up on the carpet in front of the rector and say I wasn't sick or anything. Oh. My grades are pretty good. They post your weekly average outside the study hall. And last week I got a 91.7 overall average. Not bad, eh? I got a letter from my grandfather telling me not to be first in my class because only the Jews are first. I wrote him and I told him I wasn't first, but even if I was, there are no Jews here. We have a few Catholics, but they're not too smart, actually. I don't think you can be smart and Catholic at the same time. Oh, I was elected to the student council, and I'm arguing for 3 things. 1, I think we should have outside sports rather than keeping them all intramural. 2, I think we should have more than 1 dance a year. And 3, I think we should only have to go to chapel once on Sunday. Oh, I'm playing left tackle on the 3rd team, and I'll be playing hockey, of course, this winter. And I think I'll try rowing in the spring, since I always stank at baseball. I have to memorize the last 5 lines of Paradise Lost. Hold it, I'll be back in a minute. There. That wasn't so hard. Maybe because it reminds me of you and me, sent away from home. I'll write it down for you. Some natural tears they dropped, but wiped them soon. The world was all before them, where to choose their place of rest, and Providence their guide. They, hand in hand with wandering steps, take and slow, through Eden, took their solitary way. There you are. I wrote that without looking at the book, and it's right too, because I just checked it word for word. It's not so bad, is it? In fact, it sounds great if you recite it in the bathroom, when no one's in the shower, or I'm taking a dump. Love, Andy.
Thanks for your letter, which is a little too long. I guess you have a lot of interesting things to say, Andy, but some of them are not terribly interesting to me. I want to hear more about your feelings. For instance, here are my feelings. This place stinks. And I don't want to go back home because Hooper McPhail stinks. And I haven't heard of another boarding school that doesn't stink, which means that life just stinks in general. Those are my feelings for this week. Write soon. Love me.
One feeling I have almost all the time is that I miss my dog, Porgy. Remember him? Our black cocker who peed in the vestibule when you patted him when you came back to our house after the skating party? I miss him all the time. Some of the masters up here have dogs, and when I pat them, I miss Porgy even more. I dream about him. I wrote a composition about him for English called Will He Remember? And I got a 96 on it. It was about how I remember him, but will he remember me? I have a picture of him on my bureau right next to my parents. By the way, could I have your picture too?
Here's a picture of me taken at the Hartford bus station. I was all set to run away, but they decided not to. This is all you get until I get my braces off Christmas vacation. Don't look at my hair. I'm changing it. By the way, do you know a boy there named Spencer Willis? There's a girl here named Annie Abbott who met him in Edgartown last summer and thinks he's cute. Would you ask him what he thinks of her?
Spencer Williams says Annie Abbott is a potential nympho. I'm sorry to tell you this, but it's true.
Annie says to tell Spencer he's a total turkey. Tell him she'd write and say so herself, but she's afraid of barfing all over the page.
Hey, do you get out for Thanksgiving? We don't because of the war.
We do, but I don't. I've been grounded for smoking one lousy Chesterfield out behind the art studio. So now I have to stay here and eat stale turkey with Cubans and Californians. That's all right. I was supposed to be mummy in New York, but it looks like she can't be there anyway because guess what? She's going to Reno to divorce Hooper McPhail. Yippee-yay! He was a jerk and a pill. And he used to bother me in bed if you must know.
I like seeing you Christmas vacation, particularly with your braces off. I really liked necking with you in Watson's rumpus room. Will you go steady with me?
I don't believe in going steady. It's against my religion. I hated all that stuff with those pairs of pimply people in the Watson's basement leaning on each other and swaying to that dumb music with all the lights off. If that's going steady, I say screw it. My mother says you should meet as many boys as you can before you have to settle down and marry one of them. That way you'll make less of a mistake. Well, it didn't work for her, but maybe it'll work for me.
Can we at least go to the movies together during spring vacation?
I don't know, Andy. I like seeing you, but I don't want to go home much anymore. My mother gets drunk a lot, if you must know. And she comes into my room all the time and talks endlessly about I don't know because she slurs her words. The only good time I had was when I came to your house for Christmas Eve. That was so fun. Singing around the piano, hanging up the stockings, playing Chinese checkers with your brother, helping your mother with the gravy. I liked all that. You may not have as much money as we have, but you got a better family, Andy, you do. So spring vacation, I'm gonna go visit my grandmother in Palm Beach. At least I'll get a tan. P.S. Here's a picture I drew of your dog, Porgy, who I remember from Christmas Eve. The nose is wrong, but don't you think the eyes are good?
I'm stroking fourth crew now. Yesterday, I wrote number 2 on the 3rd. Tomorrow, I wrote number 6 on the 2nd or number 4 on the 5th. Who knows? You get out there and you work your butt off, and the launch comes alongside, looks you over, and the next day they post a list on the bulletin board saying who wrote what. Never tell you what you did, right or wrong, whether you're shooting your slide or bending your back or what. They just post the latest results for all to see. Now, some days, I think I'm doing really well, and I get sent down 2 crews. One day, I was obviously hacking around, and they moved me up. There's no rhyme or reason. I went to Mr. Clark, he's head of rowing, and I said, look, Mr. Clark, there's something wrong about this system. People are constantly moving up and down, and no one knows why. It doesn't seem to have anything to do on whether you're good or bad, strong or weak, coordinated or uncoordinated. It all seems random, sir. Mr. Clark said, "That's life, Andy." He walked away. Well, maybe that's life, but it doesn't have to be life. You could easily make rules which made sense, so the good ones moved up and the bad ones moved down, and people knew what was going on. I'm serious. I'm thinking about going to law school later on.
Your last letter was too much about rowing. Do you know a boy there named Steve Scully? I met him down in Florida, and he said he went to your school and that he was on the first crew. He said he was the fastest rower on the boat. Is that true, or was he lying? I think he may have been lying.
Steve Scully was lying. He doesn't even row. And if he did and rowed faster than everyone else in the same boat, he'd mess up the whole thing. He said he got to second base with you. Is that true?
Steve Scully is a lying son of a bitch. And you can tell him I said so.
Will you be around this summer? I think I got a summer job caddying, so no more camp, thank God.
I'll be visiting my father in California. I haven't seen him in 4 years. He has a new wife, and I have 2 half-sisters now. It's like going to find a whole new family. Oh, I hope.
Do you like California? Write me about California. How's your second family? Did you get my letters? I checked with your mother, and I had the correct address. How come you haven't answered me all summer? Back in school now. Hope everything's okay with you. Did you get any of my letters out in California? Or did you have a wicked stepmother who confiscated them?
I don't want to talk about California ever. For a while, I thought I had 2 families, but now I don't think I have any. You're married lucky, Andy. You don't know it, but you are. But maybe I'm lucky too in another way. I was talking to Mrs. Wadsworth, who comes in from Hartford to teach art. She says I have a real talent in both drawing and painting. And she's going to try me out in pottery as well. She says some afternoon she's going to take me just by myself to her studio in Hartford. And we'll do live paintings of her lover in just a jockstrap. Don't laugh. She says art and sex are sort of the same thing.
Okay, I have 4 questions, so please concentrate. 1, will you come up to the midwinter dance? 2, if so, can you arrive on the 11:32 Friday night train? 3, does the rector's wife have to write your headmistress telling her where you're going to be staying? And 4, does the rector's wife also have to write your mother?
The answer is yes, except for my mother, who won't care.
I have to tell you this right off the bat. I'm really goddamn mad at you. I invite you up here for the only dance my class has been able to go to since we got here. I meet you at the train. I buy you a vanilla milkshake. I bring you out to school in a taxi. I score 2 goals for you during the hockey game the next afternoon. I buy you the $8 gardenia corsage. I make sure your dance card is filled with the most regular guys in the school. And then what happens? Now I'm here that you sneaked off with Bob Bartram during the Vienna Waltz and necked with him in the coat room. I've heard that from 2 guys. And then Bob himself brought it up yesterday at breakfast. I tried to punch him, but Mr. Enbody restrained me. I'm really sore, Melissa. I consider this a betrayal of everything I hold near and dear. Particularly since you would hardly even let me kiss you goodnight after we had cocoa at the rector's. And you know what I'm talking about. So don't expect any more letters from me or any telephone calls even during spring vacation. Sincerely yours.
Sorry. I hated that Bob Bartram. I hated him even when I necked with him. I know you won't believe that, but it's true. You can be attracted to someone you hate. Well, maybe you can't, but I can. So all right, I necked with him, but he never touched my chest. And if he says he did, he should be strung up by his testicles. You tell him for me at breakfast. Anyway, Andy, I got carried away. And I'm a stupid bitch, and I'm sorry. I felt so guilty about it that I didn't want to kiss you after the cocoa. And besides, Andy, how do I say this? With you, Andy, it's different. You're like a friend to me. You're like a brother. I've never had a brother, and I don't have too many friends, so you're both, Andy. You're it. My mother says you should never say that to a man, but I'm saying it, and it's true. Maybe if I didn't know you so well, maybe if we hadn't grown up together, and maybe if we had written all these goddamn letters all the time, I could have kissed you the way I kissed Bob Bartram. Oh, but please, Andy, let's see each other during the spring break. I mean, please, I count on you, Andy. I need you. I sometimes think that I would go stark raving mad if I didn't have you, Andy, to hold on to. I really think that sometimes. Much love. Happy Easter! I know no one sends Easter cards except maybe maids, but here's mine anyway, drawn with my own hot little hands. I drew those tears on the corny little bunny on the left because it misses you so much. But maybe I just made it all the more cornier. Greetings from Palm Beach. Decided to visit my grandmother. Yawn, yawn. I'm a whiz at backgammon and gin rummy. Heard you took Gretchen Lascelles to see Quo Vadis and sat in the loge and put your arm around her and smoked. Naughty, naughty. Back at school, but not for long, that's for sure. Caught nipping gin in the woods with Bubbles Harriman. Have to pack my trunk tonight and be out tomorrow. Mommy's frantically pulling strings all over the eastern seaboard for another school. Mrs. Wadsworth, my art teacher, thinks I should chuck it all and go to Italy and study art. What do you think, Andy? Oh, please, please write, please. I need your advice. Or are you too busy thinking about that Gretchen, Sally's, or whatever her name is?
To answer your question about Italy, I think you're too young to go. My mother said she had a roommate once who went to Italy in the summer, and the Italians pinched her all the time on the rear end. Mother says she became thoroughly overstimulated. So I think you should go to another school, graduate, go to college, and maybe after that, when you're more mature, you could go to Italy. That's my advice for what it's worth, which is probably not much, the way things are going between you and me.
Here I am at Emma Willard's Academy for Young Lesbians. Help! Get me out of here! Are you coming straight home this June? Because I am, and I want to see you. Are you still in love with that Gretchen Lascelles?
For your information, I'm not taking Gretchen Lascelles out anymore. I brought her home after Penny's party, and my father caught us on the couch. He told me he didn't care what kind of girls I took out as long as I didn't bring them around my mother, even though my mother was up in bed. Still, I guess Gretchen can be embarrassing to older people.
I hope to see you in June then.
I can't come home in June. Sorry, I have to go and be a counselor at the school camp for poor kids from the urban slums. I'm vice president of my class now, and I'm supposed to set an example of social responsibility all through July. I'll be writing you letters, though, and I hope you'll write me.
I don't want to write letters all the time. I really want to see you, Andy.
Just need more confidence in your letter writing ability. Sometimes you will manage to attain a very vivid style.
Oh, God, won't you please stop writing about writing and come home and go to the Campbell sports party before you go to that stupid camp? Please, Andy, I behave so much better when you're around. In person, please.
Greetings from New Hampshire. This card shows the town we're near, where we sneak in and buy beer. We're cleaning the place up now, and putting out the old boat decks and caulking the canoes because all the kids arrive tomorrow. Gotta go right soon.
I miss you. I really wish you had come home to go to the Campbell sports party with me.
Dear Melissa, Sandy McCarthy arrived from home for the second shift here at camp, and he told me all about the Campbell sports party. He said you wore a two-piece bathing suit and ran around goosing girls and pushing boys into the pool. Do you enjoy that sort of crap? He said the other girls were furious at you. Don't you want the respect of other women? Sandy also said you let Bucky Ziller put a tennis ball into your cleavage. Are you a nympho or what? Don't you ever just like sitting down somewhere and making conversation? Sandy says you're turning into a hot box. Do you like having that kind of reputation? No, I thought there was a difference between you and Gretchen LaSalle's. Maybe I was wrong. Don't you care about anything in this world except hacking around? Don't you feel an obligation to help the poor people, for example? Sometimes I think your big problem is that you're so rich you don't have enough to do, and so you start playing grab-ass with people. I'm very sorry to say these things, but what Sandy told me made me slightly disgusted, frankly. I wrote you a letter from New Hampshire. Did you receive it? Are you there, or are you visiting your grandmother, or what? Are you sore at me? I'll bet you're sore at me. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm a stuffy bastard sometimes, aren't I? What the hell with you then?
Ooh, big, tough Andy, using four-letter words like hell.
Screw you.
Don't you wish you could?
Well, everyone else seems to be.
Don't believe everything you read in the papers. Dear Andrew Macpeace, lad the turd. I just want you to know that you hurt me very much. I just want you to know that. Now let's just leave each other alone for a while. All right? All right.
Dear Melissa, my mother wrote me that your grandmother had died. Please accept my deepest sympathies.
Thank you for your note about my grandmother. I loved her a lot, even though she could be a little boring.
Congratulations on getting into Briarcliff. I hear it's great.
Thank you for your note about Briarcliff. It's not great, you know it. In fact, it's a total pit. But it's close to New York, and I can take the train there into the city and take drawing at the Institute 3 times a week. And in 2 years, if I stick it out, Mommy's promised me that I can go live in Florence. I can't wait. I hope you like Yale.
Hey, would you consider coming to the Yale-Dartmouth game Saturday, October 28th?
I'll be there.
Oh, damn. Sorry, Melissa. I have to cancel. My parents have decided to visit that weekend, and they come first, according to them. My mother says she'd love to have you with us, but my father thinks you can be somewhat distracting.
You and your parents. Let me know when you decide to grow up.
Hey, how about the Harvard game, November 16th?
Do you plan to grow up at the Harvard game?
Give me a chance. I might surprise you.
Okay, let's give it a try. You should know that I am even richer now than when you said I was rich, thanks to poor Granny. I plan to drive up the front gate of Calhoun College in my new red Chrysler convertible and sit there stark naked, honking my horn and drinking champagne and flashing all the freshmen.
Okay, here's the schedule. We'll have lunch at Calhoun around noon, then drive out to the game. And then there's a sea breeze party at the Fence Club afterwards, and an eggnog brunch at St. Anthony's the next day. I'll reserve a room for you at either the Taft or the Duncan. Probably the Taft, since the Duncan is a pretty seedy joint.
Make it a Duncan. I hear the Taft is loaded with parents, all milling around the lobby, keeping tabs on who goes up in the elevator. Can't wait until the 16th.
The Duncan it is. Hubba hubba, good year rubber.
Dear Andy, this is supposed to be a thank you note for the Yale-Harvard weekend, but I don't feel like writing one, and I think you know why. Loves, Melissa.
Dear Melissa, I keep thinking about the weekend. I can't get it out of my head. It wasn't much good, was it? I don't mean just the Duncan, I mean the whole thing. We didn't really click, did we? I always had the sense that you were looking over my shoulder, looking for someone else. And ditto with me. Both of us seemed to be expecting something different from what was there. As for the Hotel Duncan, I don't know. Maybe I had too many sea breezes. Maybe you did. But what I really think is that there were too many people in that hotel room. Besides you and me, it seemed my mother was there, egging us on. My father shaking his head. And your mother zonked out on the couch. And Miss Hawthorne and your grandmother sitting on the sidelines watching us like hawks. Anyway, I was a dud, and I admit it. I'm sorry. I went to the infirmary on Monday, and I talked to the doctor about it. And he said these things happen all the time, particularly when there's a lot of pressure involved. The woman doesn't have to worry about it so much, but the man does. Anyway, it didn't happen with Gretchen LaSalle's. You can write her and ask her if you want.
You know what I think is wrong, Andy? These letters. These goddamn letters. That's what's wrong with us, in my humble opinion. I know you more from your letters than I do in person. That's why I was looking over your shoulder. I was looking for the person who's been in these letters all these years. Or for the person who's not in these letters. I don't know. I mean, all I know is that you are not quite the same when I see you, Andy. You're really not. I'm not saying you're a jerk in person. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that all this letter writing has really messed us up. I mean, it's a bad habit. It's made us seem like people we're not. So maybe what was wrong was that there were two people sitting in that Hotel Duncan that night and missing the real you and the real me.
Whatever the matter is, we are in real trouble, you and I. That I realize. So now what do we do about it? Maybe we should just concentrate on dancing together. Then we can still hold each other and move together and get subtly sexy with each other. Not have to deliver the goods all the time. You know what I mean. Come to think of it, maybe that's why they sent us to dancing school in the first place. Maybe that's why dancing was invented.
At least we should stop writing letters for a while. You could telephone me. Here's our dorm number, Wilson 12436.
I hate talking to you on the telephone. Yours is in the hall, ours is right by the college dining room. People are always coming and going and making cracks. Telephoning is not letter writing at all.
I called the telephone company and they put a private phone in my room, Roger 2408. It's sort of expensive, but at least we can talk.
busy. Or else ours is. I can't afford a private one. Maybe we should just start writing letters again.
Oh, no letters, please. Now order that telephone. I'll lend you the dough. Just think about it, Andy. We can talk back and forth, and you can hear somebody's real voice and get to know someone in life rather than on writing paper. Oh, for God's sakes, Andy, get that phone, please.
I'm writing because when I telephone, you just hung up on me. One thing about letters, you can't hang up on them.
Well, you can tear up letters, though, and close her to pieces. Send them to Angela Atkinson at Sarah Lawrence.
Oh, what the hell is the matter?
I hear you're writing letters twice a week to Angela Atkinson. That's what's the matter.
Okay, here goes. The reason I'm writing Angie Atkinson is because I just don't think I can stop writing letters, particularly the girls. As I told you before, in some ways, I feel most alive when I'm holed up in some corner writing things down. I pick up a pen, and almost immediately everything seems to take shape around me. I love to write. I love writing my parents because then I become the ideal son. I love writing essays for English because then I am, for a short while, a true scholar. I love writing letters to the newspapers, notes to my friends, Christmas cards, anything where I have to put down words. And I really love writing you. This letter, which I'm writing with my own hand, with my own pen, in my own penmanship, comes from me and no one else, and it's a present of myself to you. It's not typewritten, though I have learned how to type. There's no copy of it, though I suppose I could use a carbon. And it's not a telephone call, which is dead as soon as it's over. No, this is just me, the way I write, across a distance, giving you myself, not keeping or retaining any part of it for myself, giving this piece of myself to you totally. You can tear me up and throw me out, or keep me and read me today, tomorrow, and any time you want until you die.
Oh, boy, Andy. Love, Melissa.
No, I meant what I wrote in that last letter. I thought about it. I thought about all the dumb things which were done to us when we were young. We had absent parents, slapping nurses, and stupid rules, obsolete schooling, empty rituals, hopelessly confusing sexual customs, and my God, when I think about it now, it's almost unbelievable. It's a fantasy. It's like back in the Oz books, the way we grew up. But they gave us an in and out in the land of Oz. They made us write. They didn't make us write particularly well. They didn't always give us important things to write about. But they did make us sit down and organize our thoughts and convey those thoughts on paper as clearly as we could to another person. And thank God for that. That saved us. Or at least saved me. So I have to keep writing letters. If I can't write them to you, I have to write them to someone else. I don't think I could ever stop writing completely. Okay, now, can I come up and see you next weekend? Or better yet, won't you please escape from suburban Sing Sing and come down here and see me? I wrote my way out of this problem, and sorry, I wrote my way into this problem, and God damn it, I'm writing my way out. I'll make another reservation at the Hotel Duncan, and I promise I'll put down my pen and give you a better time.
Dear Andy, guess what? Right when I was in the middle of reading your letter, Jack Duffield telephoned me from Amherst and asked me up for the weekend up there. So I said yes, before I got to where you asked me. So sorry, sweetie, it looks like the telephone wins in the end.
Dear Melissa, somehow I don't think this is the end. be, but I really don't think it is. At least I hope it isn't. Love, Andy.
Hey, you! Look where I am. Lawrence. Oops, I'm in Firenze. I love it.
What are you doing in Florence?
What am I doing? I'm painting, among other things.
Good luck on the paintings. Go slow on the other things. Merry Christmas.
Buon Natale.
Happy birthday. Mother wrote you won an art prize in Perugia. She said it was a big deal. Congratulations.
Congratulations on making scrolling key, whatever that is.
Merry Christmas from the land of Oz.
Feliz Navidad from the Costa del Sol.
Happy birthday from the Sterling Library.
Here you graduated summa cum laude with all sorts of prizes. Sounds disgusting.
Anchors away. Here I am, looking like Henry Fonda and Mr. Roberts, riding during his midwatch on the bridge of a giant attack aircraft carrier, churning through the Mediterranean in the wake of Odysseus, Lord Nelson, and someone named Richard Halliburton. You'd be pleased to know our guns are loaded, our planes in position, and our radar is constantly scanning the skies, all designed simply and solely to protect you against communism. Next time you see me, I want you to salute.
I should have known you joined the Navy. Now you can once again be with all the boys.
We come into La Spezia in January. Could we meet?
Sorry, but I'll be in Zermatt in January.
Ship will be in the Mediterranean all spring. We come to Naples, March 3rd, 4th, 5th. How about standing on the pier and waving us in?
As the French say, je suis, c'est allé. I'm meeting Mother in Paris in March. Why don't you sail up the Seine?
Merry Christmas from Manila. I've been transferred to an admiral's staff.
Happy New Year from Aspen.
What are you doing in Aspen?
Going steadily downhill.
Hello from Hong Kong.
Goodbye to San Francisco.
Shore duty in Japan.
Hey you, rumor hath it that you hooked up with some little Jack bar girl. Say it isn't so. Mother wrote that you're living with some Japanese geisha girl and your family's all upset. Is that true? Did you get my letter? You're so far away and your Navy address is so peculiar that I'm not sure I'm reaching you. I hear that you're seriously involved with a lovely Japanese lady. Would you write to me about her?
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I thought you might appreciate this card. It's a print by 19th century artist Hirosage. It's called Two Lovers Meeting on a Bridge in the Rain. Love, Andy.
Hey, you sly dog. Are you getting settled in your old age? Are you trying to tell me something? If so, tell me more. I told my psychiatrist about the great love affair you're having in Japan. I said I suddenly felt really jealous. He said that most American men have to get involved with a dark-skinned woman before they can connect with the gorgeous blonde goddesses that they really love. He brought up James Fenimore Cooper and Faulkner and John Ford movies and went on and on and on and on. Is that true? Write me what you think. I'm dying to hear from you. Did you get my letter? I hope I didn't sound flip. Actually, I've become involved in someone too. His name is Darwin, and he works on Wall Street, where he believes in the survival of the fittest. I'd love to hear from you. Your mother told my mother that you decided to marry your Japanese friend and bring her home. Oh no, gasp, sob, sigh, say it isn't so.
accept the kind invitation.
Dear Andy, thank you for the lovely Japanese bowl. I'll put flowers in it when you come to visit us, if you come to visit us, and if you bring flowers. Maybe you'll just bring your Japanese war bride and we can all sit around and discuss Rashomon. I know you'll like Darwin. When he laughs, it's like Pinocchio turning into a donkey. We're living in a new carriage house in New Canaan, close to the train station, and I've got a studio all my own. P.S. Will you please write me about your big romance? Mother says your parents won't even talk about it anymore.
Dear Alyssa, I'm writing to tell you this. And outside of you, I mean outside of you, this was probably the most important thing that ever happened to me. And I mean was. Because it's over, it's gone, and I'm coming home, and that's all I ever want to say about it ever again.
Mr. and Mrs. Darwin H. Cobb announced the birth of their daughter, Francesca.
Many congratulations on the baby.
Harvard Law School yet? Are you getting stuffy and self-important?
As you know, I always like to write letters. I decided I might do better trying to write laws, which, after all, are the letters that civilization writes to itself.
Yes, you are getting all stuffy and self-important. Come and have a drink with us sometime. We're right on the way to New York, and sooner or later, everyone comes to New York.
Hey, read the New York Times account of your show in Stanford. It sounds like you were causing a series of seismic shocks up and down the Merritt Parkway.
Don't joke about my work. There's more than what they say in your goddamn Bible, the New York Times. Enclosed, see what other critics are saying. They think I'm good. I am good. Or I could be good if I could only focus.
Sorry. I know you're good. I've always known it.
Here you made law review, whatever that means. I assume you review laws. I wish you would review some of the marriage laws.
Just a quick note, are you in any trouble?
I don't understand your last note. We're fine, all fine. Everything's fine.
Congratulations on baby number 2.
Number 2 is a perfect way to describe this particular baby.
Greetings from Washington. You're clerking for a Supreme Court justice, which isn't quite as fancy as it sounds.
Dear Andy, I was very sorry to hear about the death of your father. I know he was a great influence on you, and I know you loved him very much. I also know that he didn't like me. I'm sure he thought I was bad for you, and I probably was. Still, he was a good, decent man, and I always knew where I stood with him when you'd bring me home back in the old days to the land of Oz. I wish I had a father like that. Please accept my deepest sympathies. Love, Melissa.
Dear Melissa, thank you for your note on my father. I did love him. He was a classy guy, best of his breed. Even now he's gone, I can still hear him reminding me of my obligations to my family, my country, and myself. Roughly that order. All my life, he taught me that those born to privilege have special responsibilities, which is, I suppose, why I came home from Japan, why I chose the law, and why I'll probably enter politics at some level, sometime down the line. Thanks for writing. Love, Andy.
Merry Christmas! I'm enclosing a snapshot Mother took of me and the girls. Don't I look domestic? Stop looking at my hair. By the way, you'll notice who's not in the picture.
Thanks for the Christmas card. Are you in trouble?
Greetings from Reno. Could I stop by Washington on the way back east?
Let me know when you're coming. You can meet Jane.
Jane?
I'm going out with a great girl named Jane.
Melissa Gardner Cobb regrets that she will be unable to accept the kind invitation of...
Dear Melissa, here to add my 2 cents worth to Jane's thank you note for the wedding present. Guess who is jealously peeking over my shoulder to make sure this isn't a love letter? First of all, thanks for the present, whatever it was. Ah, a tray. I'm now told it was a tray, a hand-painted tray. Hand-painted by you, I'll bet. Anyway, thank you. I hope all goes well with you as it does with us. We'll be moving to New York in the fall. I've got a job with one of those high-powered law firms. We'll probably be stuffy as hell for a while, but I'll learn the ropes. Besides, it's in my home state, and it might be a good jumping-off place for seeking something political a little way on down the line. And we both want you to come to dinner once we're settled in. And don't say you never came to New York. Sooner or later, everyone comes to New York. As someone once wrote me long, long ago. Merry Christmas from us to you. Where are you these days? Happy birthday. See, even a married man never forgets. We'll get well soon. Mother wrote that you had some difficulty. I hope it's not serious, and by now you're feeling fine. I can't remember what exactly 12 red roses are supposed to say, but here they are. And I hope they say, cheer up. Hey, I sent you some flowers a while back. Did you receive them? Are you all right?
Dear Andy, yes, I'm all right. Yes, I got your flowers, and yes, I'm fine. No, actually, I'm not fine. They telling me I've got to stop running around saying that I am. I'm here in this posh joint outside Boston, drawing out for $155 a day. One of my problems is that I got slightly too dependent on the Kickapoo Joy Juice. A habit they say I picked up during the party days back in our town. Another is that I slide into these terrible lows. Mommy says that I drag everyone down, and they're right. Anyway, the truth is that my ex has taken over custody of my girls, and I'm holed up in here popping tranquilizers, talking my head off in single-end group psychiatric sessions, and turning into probably the biggest bore in the greatest Boston area.
Have you thought about doing some painting again? That might help. Did you get my note about taking up art? You were good, and you know it, so you should keep it up.
I did get your note, and I have taken it up, and it helps, really. Thank you. I'm channeling my rage, I'm enlarging my vision and all that. I hope all goes well with you. And, oh, wait, hold it. What was her name? I'm looking it up in my little black book. Oh, yes, Jane. Jane, I hope all is well with Jane.
Merry Christmas from Andy and Jane Ladd. And Andrew the Fourth. Hey, guess the name of the dog.
Corgi.
You got it.
Merry Christmas from San Antonio. I'm trying the Southwest. I can see the most incredible shapes from my bedroom window. And there's also a pretty incredible shape now sleeping in my bed.
Well, season's greetings from the Ladd family. Hey, Mother wrote that you were planning to get married again.
I was. I did. I'm not now. Dear Andy, now that you're
Rhodes and McAllister are to announce appointment to partnership. Mr. Andrew M. Ladd III.
Now that you're just a hot-shot lawyer, could you give me my children back? Darwin hardly lets me get near them, and when he does, they behave as if I have some contagious disease. I wasn't much of a mother, but maybe I could improve if I just had the legal responsibility.
Better stay out of this one. Our past connections, it's a conflict of interest.
Hello from Egypt. I'm trying to start over again, in the cradle of civilization.
Christmas greetings from the lads. Andy, Jane, Drew, Nicholas, and Ted. And of course, Porgy.
I'm thinking of moving to Los Angeles. Do you know anyone in Los Angeles? Does anyone know anyone in Los Angeles?
Joy to the world from all the lads. Note our new address.
Merry Christmas. Hey you, what's going on? Just when I decide to move to New York, I hear you've scampered off to the suburbs.
I find the suburbs generally safer.
Chicken. Mother wrote that you won some important election for the Republicans. I'm terribly disappointed. I love all politicians, but I find Democrats better in bed.
I'm a liberal Republican. A strong commitment to women's rights. Doesn't that count?
Depends on your position. Paintings and drawings by Melissa Gardner, the Hastings Galleries, 422 Broadway, March 18th through April 30th. Opening reception, March 20th, 6 to 8 p.m. Note, I've gone back to my maiden name. That's a laugh.
Got your announcement for your new show. Good luck. P.S. I'd love to have one of your paintings. We could use a little excitement in our living room walls. Seriously, what would one cost?
Come to the show and find out.
Never made your show. Sorry, things came up.
Chicken again.
You're right.
Actually, it's just as well. I'm going through what the critics call an anarchistic phase. They say I am dancing on the edge of an abyss. You better stay away because I might just take you down when I fall.
Dear friends, Jane tells me it's about time I took a crack at the annual Christmas letter. So here goes. Let's start at the top with our quarterback, Jane herself, who never ceases to amaze us all. Not only has she continued to be a superb mother to our 3 sons, but she has also managed to commute into the city and hold down a part-time job in the gift shop at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Furthermore, she's now well on her way to completing a full-fledged master's degree in arts administration at SUNY Burgess. More power to Jane, to say we all. And we are very proud of our 3 boys. Young Drew was soccer captain at Exeter last fall and hopes to go on to Yale. Nicholas, our rebel in residence, has become a computer genius in high school and has already received several tantalizing offers for summer jobs from local electronic firms. And Ted, our last, but in no way our least, now plays the clarinet in the school band. We recently bought the family summer place from my brother and sister and hope to spend as much time as we can there, gardening, relaxing, and as the boys say, generally vegging out. Jane and I have become killers on the tennis court, and hereby challenge all comers. If any of our friends are in the Adirondack area this summer, we expect telephone calls, we expect visits, we expect elaborate house presents. I've enjoyed very much serving in the state legislature. We proposed and written a number of bills. We won some and lost some. All my life I've had to wish to do something in the way of public service, and it has been a great pleasure to put that wish into practice. For all my friends who have urged me to seek higher office, let me simply say that I have more than enough challenges right here where I am. Jane and the boys join me in wishing each and all of you a happy holiday season.
Dear Andy, if I ever get another one of those drippy Xerox Christmas letters from you, I think I'll invite myself out to your ducky little house for dinner, and when you're all sitting there eating terribly healthy food and discussing terribly important things and generally congratulating yourself on all your accomplishments, I think I'll stand up on my chair and turn around and moon the whole fucking family.
You're right. It was a smug, dumb letter, and I apologize for it. Jane normally writes it, and it sounds better when she does. I always felt better writing to just one person at a time, such as you. I guess what I was really saying is that as far as my family is concerned, we're all managing to hold our heads above water in this tricky world. Jane and I, we've had our problems, but we're comfortable with each other now. And the boys, for the moment, are out of trouble. Nicky seems to be off drugs now, and Ted is helping get his stammer fixed. Porgy Jr., my old cocker, died. I miss him too much to get a replacement. I'm thinking of running for the Senate next fall if O'Hara retires. What do you really think? I want your opinion, seriously. If you decide to answer this, you might try to write care of my office address. Jane has a slight tendency toward melodrama, particularly after she got a hold of your last little note.
The Senate yet. I should have known. Oh, Andy, just think. Once again, you can be with all the boys. Oh, hell, go for it if you want. You'll be an image of righteousness and rectitude in our God-forsaken land. Or maybe it's just me that's God-forsaken these days.
The Honorable M. Ladd III wishes to express his thanks for your generous donation to his senatorial campaign. You sent me too much, Melissa. You didn't need to.
Greetings from Silver Hill. Slight regression in the liquor department. They say it's in the genes. Lord knows, my mother had the problem and my father too in the end. Anyway, I'm working on it. Darwin's being a real shit about the girls. He's cut down on my visitation rights. So when you get to Washington, I want you to write a special law about vindictive ex-husbands banishing them to Lower Sloblovia forever and ever. Amen.
Season's greetings from Senator and Mrs. Andrew M. Ladd and family.
Season's greetings, indeed. Is that all you can say to me after 40 years? I'm warning you, Andy. You keep that shit up, and I swear I'll come down there and moon the whole Senate.
I'm sorry, my staff sent that out. Merry Christmas, old friend. How are you? Where are you these days?
Living in New York, alone for a change. But the big question is, who am I these days? That's a toughie. I keep thinking about this strange old world, that we grew up in. I mean, how did it manage to produce both you and me, a stalwart, upright, servant of the people, and a boozed out, cynical, lascivious old broad? The best and the worst. That's us.
Don't be so tough on yourself. Get back into your art.
I'll try.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and much love.
Much love. God, Andy, how sexy. Remember how much that meant in our preppy days? I mean, if it was just love, you were out in the cold. And if it was all my love, you were hemmed in for life. But much love meant that things could go either way. Remember?
Merry Christmas and love from us all.
Saw you on 60 Minutes. You look fabulous. That was a great little pep talk on the Senate and our responsibilities to Latin America. But don't forget to keep your eye on the ball.
Thanks for your card. What's the ball?
The ball is that money doesn't solve everything. It helps, but not as much as people think. Take it from one who knows. That's the ball.
Merry Christmas and love. What are you up to these days?
I'm trying to work with clay. Remember that kind of clay we used to use in Miss Migler's art class in 4th grade? You know, that old gray stuff, we called it plasticine. I'm trying to work with that. I'm making cats and dogs. I even made a Cajun kangaroo jumping over a glass of orange juice. You remember that? I'm trying to get back some of those old feelings that I had once in the homeland. I'm trying to find feelings, Andy, any feelings. Otherwise, you know, I'm dead. Come down, Andy. Come down here and help me search. I have a studio down in Soho, and we could have dinner and we could talk about old times, couldn't we, Senator Ladd? P.S. Did you know that my mother got married again? At the age of 82. To my father's brother, yes. So now you have to call her Mrs. Gardner again. Just like the old days. The wheel is just coming around full circle. Intent.
Okay, a quick note on the way to the airport. When you write, put attention Mrs. Walpole on the envelope. She's my private secretary. I alerted her, and she'll pass your letters directly on to me. Otherwise, the whole office seems to get a peek. In haste.
I'm having a show opening January 28th through February 25th. Won't you come, Andy? I'd love to have you see what I've been up to. Maybe it will ring a few old bells.
Can't make it. I'm on an official visit to the Philippines most of February, and then a week spring skiing in Stowe with the boys. Good luck. Haven't heard from you. Tell me about the show. I want to hear from you, please.
The show stank. Crowd hated it, the critics hated it, I hated it. It was an astounding shit. You can't go home and get Andy, you can quote me on that. I'm turning it to photography now. Realism, that's my bag. Present tense, looking at the modern world squarely in the face and don't blink. Oh wait, Andy, couldn't I see you? You're really all I have left.
I'll be in New York next Thursday, the 19th. I have to make a fundraising speech at dinner. I could stop by your place afterwards.
I'll be there all evening.
Oh. Red roses. This time I think I know what they mean.
All I know is that after last night, I want to see you again. Any chance of any other fundraisers coming up in the near future? Mrs. Waffle, are you there? Are you delivering the mail?
I'm sorry I've taken so long to reply. I've been upstate mending a few fences, and then to Zurich for a 3-day economic conference, and then a weekend with Jane, mending a few fences there. Darling, I have to ask you not to telephone the office. Every call has to be logged in, and most of them get screened by these over-eager college interns who like to rush back to Cambridge and New York, New Haven, and announce to their classmates in political science that Senator Ladd is shacking up on the side. The phones simply aren't secure. At long last, the letter beats the phone. Oh, my love. Feels good writing to you again, longhand, forming my D's and T's the way Miss Emerson taught us so long ago. I know you never liked writing letters, but now you have to. Ha-ha. As for business, I plan to come through New York next Wednesday. I'll call you from the airport if there's time to stop by.
Sweetheart, I love seeing you. Come again.
We'll be stopping here next week.
Did you ever think we'd be so good at sex?
Uptight old wasps going at it. Sail at Brooksboro.
I figured 50 years went until last night.
Let's go for 100.
Oh my God, come again sooner.
I'm already making plans.
Oh, I have to go to San Francisco to see the girls. Couldn't we meet somewhere on the
I
way?
don't see how we could possibly
Oh,
go
some
public.
country inn, some deliciously
No,
seated
I don't see
hotel.
how we could.
Just for a few hours,
It's
please.
the price we have.
I begin to think about nothing else, Amy.
I'm not sure I
hope we
can
get
change
together.
my
Oh,
whole
other
life so
politicians
radically.
have gotten divorced. Rockefeller, Reagan.
Jane, the children, my particular.
You become the center of my life. If you left, I don't think I could go
Because
on.
of the coming election, I don't see how we can take forward.
Dear Andy, a reporter called from the Daily News. What do I do about it?
Nothing.
I suppose you know this, but there's a crack about us in the Newsweek, and Mother heard on some radio talk show that they actually name names. I mean, what should I do? Go away? What?
Nothing.
They called Darwin, you know. They tracked him down. The son of a bitch told them that this has been going on for years.
Wish it had been.
Now they're telephoning me. What do I say?
Say we're good old friends.
Friends. Friends I like, good I like, but I'm beginning to have a problem with old.
Then don't say anything. Hang on. This too shall pass.
Will I be seeing you again?
But better not for a while.
I meant after the election.
Better lie low for a while.
I miss you terribly.
Better lie low.
I need you, Andy. You're my anchor man these years. Without you, I don't think I can go
Hold
on.
on now. Just hold on.
Where were you? I waited 3 hours hoping you would at least call me.
Please don't telephone. Mrs. Walpole was sick that
I
day.
haven't seen you in over a month
The
now.
coming election.
Surely you can at least take time out to
If
call.
I want to be reelected,
I need you. I need to be with you. I don't know if I can go
The
on.
election.
I haven't heard from you in 6 weeks, Andy. Are you trying to tell me something? Is this it, Andy? Congratulations on a landslide victory. Love, Melissa.
Could we meet at your place next Sunday night?
Thank God.
I mean that we have to talk, Melissa.
Uh-oh. Talk. I'm scared of talk, Andy. In fact, I dread it.
Dearest Melissa, are you all right? It was a heavy scene last Sunday, but I know I'm right. We've got to go one way or the other, and the other leads nowhere. I know I sound like a stuffy prick, but I do feel I have a responsibility to Jane and the boys, and now, after the election, to my constituency, which had enough faith and trust in me to vote me back, in despite of all that crap in the newspapers. And it wouldn't work with us anyway. It wouldn't in the long run, sweetheart. We're too old. We're carrying too much old baggage and backs. We'd last about a week if we got married. But we can still write letters, darling. We can always do that. Letters still our strength, our salvation. Mrs. Walpole is still with us. And there's no reason why we can't continue to keep in touch with each other the wonderful old way. I count on your letters, darling. I always have. And I hope you will count on mine. Now I've resorted to the telephone, but all I get is your damn machine. Please, I need to hear from you. Senator and Mrs. Andrew M. Ladd III and family send you a warm holiday greeting and every good wish for the new year.
Andy Ladd, is that you? Blow dried and custom tailored and jogging trim and 55. Hiding behind your lovely wife with her heels together and her hands folded discreetly over her snatch. And is that your dog, Andy? I see you graduated to a golden retriever. And are those your sons and heirs? And Al? Is that a grandchild nestled in someone's arms? Oh God, Andy, you look like the Holy Family. Season's greetings and happy holidays, and even Merry Christmas, Senator Ladd. We who are about to die salute you.
Just reread your note. What's this "we are about to die" stuff? May I see you again? I want to see you again, if I may. Dear Mrs. Gardner, I seem to have lost touch with Melissa again. I wonder if you might send me her latest address. Dear Melissa, your mother wrote that you'd returned to the land of Oz, and I'm flying up next Thursday to see you.
No, don't, please. Please stay away. I've let myself go. I'm fat. I'm ugly. My hair is horrible, and I'm locked in this funny farm all weekend, and Mother gets me on weekends if I'm good. They put me on all sorts of new drugs, and half the time I don't make any sense at all, and I can't even finger paint now without fucking it up. My girls won't even talk to me on the telephone now. They say I upset them too much. Oh, Andy, I've made a mess of things. I've made a total ghastly mess. I don't like life anymore, Andy. I don't. I hate it. Sometimes I think that if you and I, if we had, oh, just stay away, Andy. Just please, just
I'm
stay
driving
away.
Saturday morning. We'll meet you at your mother's.
Don't! I don't want to see you. I won't be there. I'll be gone. Andy, I swear I'll be gone.
Dear Mrs. Gardner, I think the first letter I ever wrote to you was accepting an invitation for Melissa's birthday party. Now I'm writing you again about her death. I want to say a few things on paper I couldn't say at a funeral, both when I spoke and you and I talked afterwards. As you know, Melissa and I managed to keep in touch with each other most of our lives, primarily through letters. Even now, as I write this letter to you, I feel I'm writing it also to her.
Ah, you're in your element now, Andy.
We had a complicated relationship, she and I, all our lives. We went in very different directions, but somehow, over all those years, I think we managed to give something to each other. Melissa expressed all the dangerous and rebellious feelings I never dared to admit to.
Now he tells me.
And I like to think I gave her some sense of balance.
Balance. Oh, hell, I give up. Have it your way, Andy. Balance.
Most of the things I did in life, I did with her, partly in mind. And if I said or did an inauthentic thing, I could almost hear her groaning over my shoulder. But now she's gone. I really don't know how I'll get along without her.
You'll survive, Andy.
I have a wonderful life. fine children, a place in the world I feel proud of, but the death of Melissa's son leaves just a huge gap in my life. Thought of never being able to write to her, to connect to her, to get some signal back from her. Oh, it fills me with an emptiness which is hard to describe.
Anything else?
I don't think there are many men in this world who have had the benefit of such a friendship with such a woman. But it was more than friendship, too. I know I loved her. I loved her even from the day I met her. She walked into second grade looking like the lost princess of Oz. I don't think I've ever loved anyone the way I loved her, and I know but again, she was in my life, and I already miss her desperately. I just wanted to say this to you and to her. Sincerely, Andy Ladd.
Thank you, Amy.